Bless the Lord, O my soul, bless it.
Hi, thanks for tuning in to Armor of God. As always, thank you so much for taking the time to be here with us, and hopefully you'll be edified with what we've put together for you here. Over the past year, Taylor Swift has packed stadiums all over the world for the Eras Tour, a 3-hour concert covering all of her albums throughout her 17-year career. Swift also released the Eras Tour in theaters on October 13 and announced on November 27 that fans can stream her concert at home beginning December 13th. However, one concert performance has some fans concerned, as they believe it may contain a satanic ritual. As Swift performs the song Willow from her Evermore album, the singer and her dancers dress in black capes and dance with orbs. Elements of earth and fire are also a central part of the performance. And so in regards to this matter, and I have shared clips of the Exorcist Father Daniel Reehil many times before, I think it's good that he speaks out about this.
Recently there's been a lot of brouhaha about the Taylor Swift concert tour called Eras, that somehow there's witchcraft happening in the concert. Now, there's a lot of things to consider here, and witchcraft and Wicca, it is a very fast-growing religion, if you want to call it that. And in 2001, there were about 134,000 witches, self-proclaimed witches in America. Today, there's over 2 million. And the paraphernalia for witches can be bought on Amazon or in retail stores around the country. So it is a growing practice, you could say. And what do they do? Well, they're harnessing energy, or they're trying to harness energy. And they look at the earth with the elements of water, fire, earth, and sky, and they believe that they can harness this energy in some ways to do good and in some ways to do evil. And the problem with the concert is that whether Taylor knew she was trying to imitate witches or in fact was doing some kind of occult ceremony during the show is sort of irrelevant to the demons. She is an incredibly talented and influential artist, and so the demons will take deep note of what she's doing and how she's doing it and who she's influencing. And so when they imitate these rituals with these orbs and these black capes that looks like something you'd find in the woods, even if her intent was not to practice any witchcraft or do any of the incantations, she is probably attracting a lot of demons to her concerts. And that's where the problem can lie, because then you have these little girls who, literally sort of worship her, who are now putting themselves in a position where they could be attacked by demonic forces. So, not saying that's going to happen to everybody, but you're definitely putting yourself in a very dangerous situation if you're going to a concert where there's somebody who's imitating or even practicing the art of witchcraft. I would say don't do it. Skip the concert.
Some of you watching might be thinking and saying, what's the big deal? It's just a concert. It's simply entertainment, a singer entertaining her fans. But the thing is, this is how it starts, planting the seeds, and somehow now practicing witchcraft is seen as something sexy and exciting. But as many exorcists have pointed out before, we know too well who's behind all of this, the one that doesn't sleep and always working to lead us away from God. And the number of young fans following Taylor Swift can't be underestimated either. You wouldn't be filling up stadiums if you're not popular. In my previous video, I shared a video of Msgr Stephen Rossetti about some people doubting the existence of hell. And for this video, I'd just like to elaborate a little bit more from what Msgr Rossetti wrote himself in an article about the demons being afraid of the future. When Aaron walked into the chapel for his weekly exorcism session, as always, Msgr Rossetti asked him how he was feeling, and he responded, "I feel an intense hatred for you." At that point, Msgr Rossetti knew that Aaron was starting to manifest, which really means the demons were coming to the fore. This means the spiritual battle was on. Demons hate priests, and they hate the church. They hate God most of all. They can't stand anything holy. John Paul II said that God does not send anyone to hell. Rather, they choose it for themselves. Likewise, the demons try to stay far away from God and all that is holy. That is, they choose to dwell in their own hell. This is an important truth for our time. In this post-Christian era, hatred for God, the faith in all that is holy is explicit and even celebrated. It is not surprising that those who worship the devil reject the Catholic Church. Similarly, as someone goes deeper into witchcraft and sorcery, they too increasingly hate the church and reject the faith. Some of their number will even intentionally curse priests and the faithful. This hatred of the faith is spreading. There have been 300 known attacks against Catholic churches in the United States since 2020. Not long ago, a mother contacted Msgr Rossetti and in tears said her daughter had gone off to college and had converted to witchcraft and paganism. Her daughter now, in her own words, violently rejects the Catholic faith and avoids contact with the Catholic members of her family. She has even convinced her younger sibling to stop going to Mass and to question the faith. And so during Aaron's session, they prayed the litany of the saints that is used in an exorcism. And here Msgr Rossetti stopped and commanded the demons, "Is that true? Does the church has power over you?" "No," the demons replied, shaking the head. And Msgr Rossetti responded, "Tell the truth." They said again, "No." The exorcist retorted, "Stop lying. I command you to tell the truth." And finally, they admitted in a sullen tone, "Yes." At the end of Aaron's session, after he had returned to full consciousness and the demons receded, he looked at Msgr Rossetti and said, "The demons are afraid of you." To which the exorcist responded, "They are afraid of Jesus and his church." Msgr Rossetti also reminded people that Our Lady in one Marian apparition told us not to be afraid of the future. She told us to look to Jesus, to pray and trust in him. It is the devil and his minions who are terrified of Jesus and his church, and they are terrified of what is to come. And for the last part of this video, I'd like to leave this reminder from Father Joseph Iannuzzi for all of you to remember.
Certainly we all have challenges, obstacles, trials in life. Are these not disturbances? No, they're not. A disturbance is something that we entertain, not something that's thrust upon us, something that we engage in willingly. So let's say gossip, or let's say unnecessary duress or worry where we should just leave it be. And we still worry and worry. That's a disturbance. That's our own will engaging too much in that. Whereas something that's thrust upon us is not our own doing. Okay? And we should banish them as soon as we are aware of them. They're not a disturbance until we are aware that they exist. Okay? And this way you don't have to be scrupulous about disturbances. Just like there is no sin unless you're aware that it's sin. Once you're aware that you're doing something that's wrong and you still persist in it, then it becomes sin. But if you're doing something you're not yet aware that it's sinful, it really isn't a sin. Because a sin, in the strict sense of the word in the Catechism, is something that you have to have three things engaged in. One, deliberation. You have to know it's a sin. You have to actually do it. And you have to desire it. So these three things have to be present. Now, it's not very black and white all the time. Sometimes there's that gray area where you were taught that something was wrong but don't know why it was wrong, and you kind of waxing and waning between the two. But the important thing is that once you are aware that this is wrong, and you still persist in it due to human weakness, attraction, whatever the cause may be, then you slow down the growth in the divine will within you.
Well then, that is all for the video this time. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here with us again, and hopefully you've learned something useful for your own spiritual growth here. Anyway, for those of you who'd like to support our works, I left a link to our PayPal donation in the description box below, and from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for your continuous support, contribution, and prayer. And until the next one, stay safe, stay healthy, and may God bless you.